Baki Rahen chapter 16, called Upholding Aesthetics. Starting off from a location which is a hospital, and as we're peering closer and closer into the building, seeing some medical instruments. From there we view our guy Shinogi Kosho, the cord cutter, in his bed recovering, with his brother and other medical workers in the same room, and Kosho is resting soundly. But one of the medical workers says that martial artists sure are amazing, while shaking his head, due to his non-belief of how amazing they are. Hard to believe he made it back after losing that much blood. Even for someone twice his size, there's no way you could stay up after losing so much. And Kosho replies, a genius in martial arts being saved by a genius in medicine. It makes for quite the story. And can I just say that Kureha looks huge. He looks huge. It also goes to show that Kureha doesn't skip out on his own training, even though he is a full-time medical doctor. We saw this in the Musashi arc when everybody was bored and yawning, and it stated that Kureha kept up with his training and continued to train at that current time, and I'm pretty sure that he's still training like he used to. Maybe not as much, but his build, his musculature, it even looks bigger than it was before when we first saw him in the story. Because right now he just looks massive in this attire. Okay, so after Kureha saying a genius in martial arts being saved by a genius in medicine, it makes for quite the story. His associates, one of them laughs. Ha 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 ha, it sure does. I'd say that's an understatement even, because they really admire Kureha's skill as a doctor, that pretty much he could save anybody's life, no matter how bad the injury, no matter how close to death they are, or even if they die, there's a high chance he could revive them and bring them back to good health. The next day, and we're met with an empty bed, but it's been folded and neat. That doesn't take away from the fact that it's still empty. We've been searching all morning, but where could he be? Where? And Kureha points up. Up there. Now you may be thinking, what does he mean by up there? And as a matter of fact, my first reading of this chapter was immediately hinting towards the roof. But I'm sure some people would have thought he meant heaven. But no, he really is on the roof. And it looks like he's training. I thought so. And as Kosho stamps his foot on the ground, he performs a display of different hand positions and strikes, and it looks like it flows very fast. And with a sharp face of concentration, twists his hand, raises his foot, and with great flexibility, kicks it to the air, perfectly vertical. Next, he switches up his own position, moving to a kick, striking the air with such graceful movement. This panel looking very similar to Keiya's movement in Sumo Dao when he faced Yujiro. And as Kureha and his associates gaze on, Kosho's foot plants itself on the ground once again after the kick and poses cleanly as if to end the demonstration. Wow, he's like a living blade. That's one way to put it. Don't overdo it with the praise. As such, Kureha, he knows his brother inside and out, and too much praise would likely get to his head and make him act overly confident. Come on now, you're such an awful patient. True, because he did just escape from his bed and went to the roof to do some training. For now, you need rest. I couldn't help it. I just had to get some exercise. My, that was so beautiful. It's such a powerful art, but it seems just like a dance. This reminds me of when Jaku said that Muhammad Ali Jr.'s like footwork and warm-up before he fought Han Kaio, he said it looks like a dance with how graceful and beautiful the movements are, like the way they intertwine one after the other. Another part would be when Musashi said that Doppo's demonstration looked like a dance, but Doppo did not take that kindly, and Musashi didn't mean any harm by it. But anyway, this is the second time that Itagaki is giving Kosho another demonstration chapter of showing his skills, showing his movement, showing the way he would fight. Each strike, the agility, everything. Just like that one chapter of Kosho doing all these calisthenic movements before fighting Jack, we're getting pretty much the same thing, but this time it's more of technical movements and attacks. But I just wanted to point that out. What did I say about the praise? These techniques look beautiful because I'm trying to make them look beautiful. All three men are surprised by Kosho saying that. But what does he really mean by it? What is the purpose? Snap and snap and snap. I'm trying to maintain an aesthetic. Us martial artists cannot escape from this curse. What exactly Kosho means by maintaining an aesthetic? Actually, we sort of already talked about this before in the story. Doppo talked about it in the prisoner arc when Dorian was in the dojo. And was it after or before he got burnt? I think it was after he got burnt. But anyway, Doppo explains how fighters who fight with aesthetic, which means like fighting with style to make their moves look very cool. That's something that most fighters would think about, on how their movements, their attack, their defense, whatever it is, would look as cool as possible. Is what it means by maintaining an aesthetic. But not just looking cool, looking beautiful, looking stylish, flowing nicely, just mainly looking stellar, for better words. And you think Jack is free from that curse? Exactly. There are no aesthetics in the way that he bites. Maybe it's more accurate to say he's trying to trim away every bit of the waste we call aesthetics. Perhaps that is his aesthetic sense. What's meant by this is in line with what Kosho also, in how Kosho perceives aesthetics, is like wasted movements, just to make the move look very stylish or very bold. So him saying that Jack has no aesthetics is that Jack has no wasted movements. None of his bites, he doesn't do it in a way that he has in mind, oh, will this look cool? Will this look beautiful? He just bites. There's no wasted movements in it. There's no thought of him trying to make the move or the attack look beautiful. It's just not in line with how he thinks. The animalistic technique biting, his deliberate choice of such an inhuman method, clearly demonstrates his resolve. It's a resolve so great that perhaps not even the ogre could match it. What the brothers are discussing is that biting is such an unorthodox way of fighting that not even someone like Yujiro would resort to it, which I think he would use biting if he had the option to, but I don't think he would use it in the way Jack uses it, like as his main martial art. As we've seen before, that is something Yujiro respects Jack of doing, only using biting. Also, we won't get a chapter until the week after next week, but this chapter was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The strong is the beautiful.